Today's talk is about the idea that you were born wise. You were born connected to infinite wisdom. Infinite wisdom is right where you are all the time. Carl Jung states that in the collective unconscious, the individual conscious mind exists within the total unconscious mind. In other words, what Carl is saying, he's saying there's a macrocosm that is the infinite mind, that is everywhere present. And within that macrocosm, there is the microcosm, the mind that I'm using, the mind that you're using. But you see, it's not a mind, an independent mind. It's a level of awareness. So my level of awareness will be different than your level of awareness, than everybody's level of awareness. Because it's like if you're in a huge 1,000,000 square foot warehouse that's filled with everything you can imagine, and you have a flashlight, and you have a narrow beam, whatever you shine that flashlight on will be the degree that you see. But if you open up the beam so it's broader, you will actually see more. And where you point the beam will have an impact on what you see. That's the same thing that happens with our level of awareness. There's an infinite universe. There's infinite intelligence out there. We see based on where we focus and how broad we allow ourselves to focus. But we have been taught, we have been conditioned to have a very narrow focus. In fact, we've been taught that the narrow focus is all there is. This is the ego. The ego is that narrow focus. The ego is that which doesn't let us see the bigger picture. The ego wants to be right. Spirit knows there is nothing that's right. There's only infinite possibilities to experience and to become more aware. The total unconscious mind that Carl Jung talks about contains the collective experience of all individuals from the beginning of time. Do you get that? That this total unconscious mind, the infinite mind, it has all of the experience that has ever happened by anyone, anything, since the beginning of time. In other words, this mind has eternal wisdom. It will continue to have everything in it. Now, if you can imagine a mind that has everything in it, do you think that this mind might have the answer to any question you might have based on the limited perspective that you are experiencing? I think so. But do we tap in? Do we take the time and ask those questions and sit and listen and realize that the answer may be beyond the awareness that we have? And we have to open ourselves to a new possibility, that maybe it's in a different direction we have to go. But you see, the unconscious mind will respond to the nature of the question that we ask. You see, if we are part of the infinite mind, why can we not experience its wisdom? This is a question I ask all the time. And the best I've come to is that we don't experience it because we are mentally and emotionally congested. We're blocked off by our doubts, our fears, and our false beliefs. Our doubts, our fears, and our false beliefs. Think about this. mental congestion, the inability to see beyond what we believe we know. And what do we fear most? What do we doubt most? What do we create false beliefs most about? The unknown. That's right. We create false beliefs about the unknown because we have doubts that we can go there. We have doubts, not only doubts, but we have fears. And fear will paralyze us. Fear will stop us from going forward. How many of you right now are fearful? Be honest with yourself. You're not going to tell anyone, but how many of you out there are fearful? Now look at that fear. How is that fear limiting you? Let me give you an example. If you're living in fear, you are living with stress. The greater the fear, the greater the stress. The more fear, the more stress, the more the stress breaks down your physical, emotional, immune system. The more your immune system is broken down, the more susceptible you become to dis-ease. Do you get that? Your body becomes inflamed because of fear. When your body becomes inflamed, it doesn't perform as well as it can. It doesn't naturally heal as quick as it can. That's one of the things medicine has discovered. That many, many times, depending on the illness, doctors will give you a steroid such as a prednisone. Why? Prednisone reduces inflammation. When you reduce inflammation, the body can do what it does. It can heal itself. Guess what causes the greatest inflammation in the body? Stress. How can you relieve stress? You can meditate every day, twice a day. It's known, it's proven to relieve stress. What else can you do? You can do deep breathing every day. It oxygenates the body. It's a natural anti-inflammant, mentally and physically. When you do these things, guess what happens when you're breathing really deep and then you meditate? There are no fears. There are no doubts. You know what you're doing. You're breathing deep and you're silencing your mind. When you do that, you take back your control. You take your power. See, what you're noticing right now in the world is that the universe is in a state of change, constant change. And unless we are changing constantly, we will remain or will become even more congested. That's right. Through all that we're going through on the planet right now, all over the world, we need to be more flexible than ever. We need to find our ground, to become grounded. And I want to invite you to find grounding in building a daily spiritual practice that includes meditation, includes deep breathing, includes positive, affirmative self-talk. It includes being out in nature and seeing the beauty of life that surrounds us. The beauty that a tree can grow. No matter where, it can grow and prosper and bear fruit. Nature is absolutely incredible. Nature will teach you how to be flexible, to adapt. A tree that is rigid, when a hurricane comes, will snap in two. A tree that has bend, that is flexible, will survive the storm. Nature gives us so many clues. We have to look and we have to listen. You see, we're tapped into the infinite mind. And ideas come to us based on the simple fact of where are we placing our attention. If you're placing your attention on the problem, the ideas of a greater problem will come. If you're placing your ideas on the solution, greater ideas will come that will solve what you're dealing with. Your attention is what changes everything, because where energy flows, attention goes. Where attention goes, energy flows. Do you see? You can reverse those two. Your energy will focus your attention. Vice versa, your attention will focus your energy. Your energy will create your experience. So realize there is an infinite mind. It is right there for you to use. It desires nothing more than to give you freely, without condition, any answer that you're seeking. Your job is to be still, ask, and listen, and know that the I am that you are is part of the I am that knows everything. Don't believe me. Test it. Prove it for yourself, and become the source of all the wisdom you will ever need.